Writer of Jurassic World Rebirth, David Koepp talks about returning to the franchise in a brand new interview and reveals that a scene from the original Michael Crichton novel has made it into the new film. The writer explained how Steven Spielberg gave him pretty much free rein when concepting Rebirth's story, and that this represents a bit of a restart, a chance to start fresh. Welcome back to Jurassic Outpost. Let's check out these new Jurassic World 4 movie updates.
There it is.
If you've been following along, then you'll know that David Koepp is writing Jurassic World Rebirth, but for those not quite in the know, writer of the screenplays for the first two movies, David Koepp has returned to the franchise for the first time pretty much with Rebirth and concepted the story with Steven Spielberg. David Koepp has been doing press tours for his latest projects, including the movie Presence, directed by Steven Soderbergh, and not that long ago revealed that while writing Rebirth, he came up with a list of 9 Jurassic commandments, a set of rules if you will, to keep the movie and to keep future movies on track. Well, David Koepp is back in a brand new interview, and this might be the most exciting yet. Variety is reporting Jurassic Park writer David Koepp says he revisited Michael Crichton's novels before writing Rebirth. There was a sequence from the first novel that we had always wanted in the original but didn't have room for. We got to use that now. Let's check it out.
Alright mate, just check this out.
You've returned to the Jurassic franchise to write Jurassic World Rebirth, which releases this summer. What was the impetus behind that homecoming? The first two movies were two of my favorite experiences ever, and Steven said, what about starting over? Let's try something all new. I said, well, that's a cool idea. What if blah blah blah? And then I threw an idea back. That's it caught. You do that all the time with your friends and collaborators, throw ideas back and forth, and sometimes they catch, usually they don't. There is pressure because it's going to cost a lot of money, and there are going to be big expectations and blah blah blah, but there was no pressure at first, just the pursuit of our ideas. There isn't even a source novel you're pulling from for this one, right? No, I reread the first 2 novels to get myself back in that mode though. We did take some things from them. There was a sequence from the first novel that we'd always wanted in the original movie but didn't have room for. We were like, hey, we get to use that now. But just to get back in that headspace 30 years later, is it still fun? And the answer is yes, it still really is. Dinosaurs are still fun. Really great to be hearing from the legend himself, of course. Not only is he collaborating again with Steven Spielberg, but he's going back, he's rereading the first 2 Michael Crichton novels. That tells me he's attempting to do this right, to do honor to those original stories. The excitement continues to mount for Jurassic World Rebirth, thanks in no small part to David Koepp's enthusiasm and passion. There's a number of scenes from both novels which haven't been utilized in the movie world, and with Rebirth being considered a rebirth of the franchise, going back to the source for inspiration can only be a good thing. Koepp also spoke with /Film to discuss Presence and writing Rebirth. Jurassic World Rebirth writer sees the new movie as a chance to start over. Spielberg asked Koepp, who wrote the first 2 Jurassic Park movies back in the 90s, if he was interested in taking a shot at cooking up a new direction for the Jurassic franchise in the aftermath of Dominion. A movie that made over $1 billion, but which was not beloved by critics or general audiences. With that question posed, Koepp made an observation about the franchise as a whole. When Steven Spielberg said, hey, do you want to try to come up with a new one? It had seemed to me that the tone and characters of the movies changed every 3 movies. So after the first 3, it changed into Jurassic World, which was a different tone and wholly different characters, and then that came, it seemed, to a logical conclusion. So Jurassic World Rebirth seems like a chance to say, okay, what now? We didn't want to deny any events that occurred. The new film is set in that world, but how might that world have changed in the last 5 years, and whose story is this now? So it was a chance to start over and still play in this incredibly fun sandbox with the enthusiasm of a big studio behind you. It was the best of all possible worlds, and Steven and I got to do the absolute most fun part of filmmaking, which is, hey, what if? And then you just make up stuff. some of the stuff they made up. In the 5 years since the events of Dominion, dinosaurs have learned that they can essentially only live in climates similar to the ones they operated in previously. The 3 biggest dinos on the planet hold the key to a drug that will bring miraculous life-saving benefits to humankind, and it's up to skilled covert operations expert Zora Bennett to snag the genetic material that can make that dream a reality. Mahershala Ali is on the board as a team leader. There's a stranded family that gets roped into the action, and the synopsis also teases a sinister, shocking discovery that's been hidden from the world for decades. Color us intrigued.
Yeah, there's a boat. Right alongside the bank. Looks in good shape.
Rescue boat?
No. It's, something left behind.
So many questions. It's all getting really rather exciting, especially knowing this movie is now about 6 months from us, coming out July 2nd, 2025. So writer David Koepp revealed that a sequence from Michael Crichton's Jurassic Park novel will be realized in Rebirth. Many people have speculated, and I'm sure you've seen a lot of that speculation about what this sequence could be. There's a number of contenders, but the one standing out to most of us is the T-Rex Lagoon sequence. This terror-inducing sequence in the novel almost made it into the original movie, with some storyboards having been planned out showing what the filmmakers intended to deliver on screen. These storyboards were uncovered by Jurassic Time, linked to the full video in the description. As Dr. Grant, Tim and Lex approach the river hoping to find a boat, they notice a sleeping T-Rex sitting pretty much opposite the dock. They creep past, find a lifeboat, but unintentionally awake the sleeping carnivore, which proceeds to stalk them in the water. It is a terrifying sequence that would have been great to see in the original movie in '93, but ultimately ended up inspiring the still operational Islands of Adventure Jurassic Park The Ride. You might remember a few months back now, it was reported that a staff member who works for Iron Studios told a handful of attendees at CCXP that there is a book scene in Rebirth, and those in the know believed it to be the T-Rex Lagoon sequence. Make of that what you will, but now David Koepp himself is directly saying they were able to make this scene one they had originally planned is certainly somewhat telling. Given that other sequences not adapted from the novel that were being speculated include an underground velociraptor nest and a sequence where compies attack a newborn baby, I think the T-Rex Lagoon sequence makes a lot of sense to include and is likely what they're going for.
Bonitas!
Something must have spooked them!
One thing that we can speculate on is how they're going to use it in Rebirth. Will it be the T-Rex or a new dinosaur entirely? Are we thinking that it's the family that will be in the scene, not Scarlett Johansson and her team? Or perhaps it will be all of them on rafts or maybe even kayaks? Only time will tell, but it certainly got many excited. Granted, it's been a while since I've read those novels, but I highly recommend both of them if you need some damn good writing. A great new interview. David Koepp delivers something great each time he talks, and it's great hearing that they've returned to the original source material to both get back in that frame of mind to make Rebirth, but to extract possible Crichton sequences and bring them to Rebirth. What sequences from the novel do you think we will be seeing? And do you agree that the one David Koepp is talking about is likely the T-Rex Lagoon sequence? Also, if you're into dinosaurs and the world of paleontology, head to jurassicalpost.com/field station and download the debut release of our new Paleo newsletter written and created by Jay Malone. Links in the description. Thank you for watching this video. I will see you in the next one.